All right, let's
We're back.
Hi guys, we're back with our
How
this
funny
is
would
our
it be
tier.
to film like 100 episodes where you're just wearing the same clothes and you're like, those two girls only have two shirts. You know, you can get the most out of your clothes right now during this Corona time, especially if you don't have a washer and dryer. Just turn your clothes inside out. It doubles as
Oh
another.
yeah. Wearing the same sweat. I make sure I wear the same outfit like 2 or 3 days in a row before I wash. I just change my underwear and then
Yeah,
that's it.
that's what I'm doing also.
Um all right, so Adrian and I over the quarantine managed to binge watch like everybody else the amazing show on Netflix, Tiger King. If you guys haven't seen this,
If you
it's
haven't
got
seen,
everything.
if you haven't seen this, you're gonna get Corona and die. First of all,
Yeah.
what a perfect timing for a show to come out.
I think this show is probably one of the it's the perfect amount of episodes. Because I was telling when Joe and I were watching this, I was telling him, I was like, if this was an actual written show, they would have drawn this out to about 5 seasons. And this ended up being the perfect amount of episodes. It's only one season. It's about 8 episodes or
I think
seven.
it's like 6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah. And it's the world of people that own big cats, like tigers, leopards, panthers,
Cheetahs,
and
panthers.
private zoos.
First of all, we're if you want to watch it, we're gonna do spoilers. So
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. Maybe I'll call this one spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, yeah, because if you don't want to know about Tiger King, we're about to dive deep into it. First of all, this guy, what's his name? Joe Exotic, is
Joe Exotic, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma gay dude with the worst mullet dyed hair. It's all of, first of all, you look at him and you're like, this is all amazing.
Is he on meth?
I
Or do
don't
you
know
think
yet.
he was
He
doing
had
meth
all of,
towards the end?
I don't know. He had all of his teeth. I'm not sure. And he also had perfect eyeliner under his eyes. Like, I wish
I
he
think
was,
that was tattooed on.
oh, you think so? Because it was perfect.
Yeah, it never ran. So, which I always think is like, mine always runs. Um, I think he also broke the stereotype of what gay males are in a weird way.
Right. Because, like, we think of gay men, we think of, like, hot guys who, have no hair on their bodies. They have abs. They speak well. And, like, this guy is just defying all the rules. He is
He's
doing gay in his own way. That's what he
I,
also ran for president. He was trying to run for president, then he obviously lost, and then he was trying to run, I think, for governor, and his thing should have been gay in my own way. Like,
yeah.
really interesting too, because people in Oklahoma, they were for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
in Oklahoma very to the right. I don't know. I know nothing about stuff like that.
Oh, they're definitely Trump. They're the Bible Belt and very Bible belty.
And
So they're definitely going to be pro
he
Trump.
yeah, and he was like very, he's like a redneck, a gay redneck who raises tigers.
Yeah, and
And
has two husbands.
two husbands who are both straight. His one
That,
husband,
but they're on drugs. I think that kind of drug behavior, those are the guys that are like, I'll put up with anal sex every now and then just so I can get my cash so I can smoke crack rock.
yeah, well, the one dude, his first gay husband, has three teeth in his mouth.
John? Oh,
The one,
it's
the one that had no shirt on the entire time that was sitting in that chair with no teeth.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like, why did you not get this guy a mouthful of teeth at some point?
Well, I guess Joe was giving him money and that's just something that he didn't think that he needed to pay for at that time.
I guess
Apparently he has a set of teeth now.
I've heard he has a set of teeth now, and he married the secretary, I think, that used to work at his place. And then, so
That girl. I mean, would you ever decide to take it to the next level with a guy that's been someone's husband for 16 years at a Tiger?
I mean, she's also working there, so she probably thought it was cool that he worked there. She was like a
Yeah.
receptionist or something. And she also wasn't like great looking either. Like that guy, once he had
No.
shirt on, wasn't terrible looking. He also had like, do you remember those weird tattoos he had on his like pelvic thing that said like property of Joe Exotic or something?
Yeah.
Now he has like a big falcon or something down there. Like every time every time that girl goes to blow him, in my head I would just be like, faggot. There's gotta be every time she goes down and sees that big, ugly falcon, she says that. I don't even mean that in a negative way.
And knowing that it's been probably in Joe Exotic's butt.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's been in Joe Exotic's butt. What's interesting though is like Joe Exotic, I really like.
You do. You like for the time being, I was like, I feel like he's the protagonist. It has the timing of like how Goodfellas is, where it's like really fun and you're all for this lifestyle.
And then
yeah, and then in the hour mark, you start realizing that it gets really dark and that this is a very toxic work environment for everyone involved.
I think I'm gonna have to plug my computer in. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
You can still talk though. I'll use my microphone.
Okay, and then
well, talk about the woman that he hates that's driving this whole show.
Baskin, she runs a cat rescue, which she was smart on calling it a rescue rather than a zoo, so it kind of is a better branding. The only thing that she was doing different, I think, is that she wasn't what is it called when you're breeding? She wasn't breeding cats. So she was just taking in,
but she was taking shitty care of them.
Their cages were just as bad as Joe Exotic.
No, I think Joe Exotic's cages, especially in the beginning, he actually was caring about them and taking good care of them.
Yeah.
Towards the end, he really lost it. It went off the rails.
It went really dark for him. Well, he was obsessed with her. So Joe Exotic had his like own video blog YouTube channel where every episode was all about like kind of like taking a doll that looked like Carole Baskin and then shooting her in the head.
Slicing her throat. Yeah, didn't he have like a blow-up doll he would like kill?
I know, part of me was like, he would do really well on Legion of Skanks.
He would do great on that show. Who do you think out of the 3 Legion of Skanks people he can get to be his husband?
Lewis.
Lewis?
No, Big J.
Maybe, but Lewis would do it just to get more followers on Instagram. Like, instead of getting mess, I think he would do it to get more Instagram followers.
Okay, also, that's a very good question.
Getting into a fight and Lewis just beating the shit out of Joe Exotic.
Easily.
What was that chick's name from the show that he hates?
Carole Baskin.
Carole Baskin is definitely so hateable. Every time I would see her face, I was like, I hope he does kill her. She's the worst person on the show. The problem that I have with her, she's pretending it's a rescue, but she's using it just to make money. They have these girls, they're all day working, and they're not getting paid any money. They take really shitty care of the animals, and she's making money off of it, pretending it's a rescue, but it's not.
Yeah.
Sarah
sorry. I just laughed. Well, also, do you think that she killed her husband?
Absolutely, she killed him.
That's what I was like, I don't know.
I don't think she fed him to the animals, like the tigers. I think she did drop him in that like waste management system they had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or I mean, she had so much land. Who's going to go look for bones on that land when there's wild cats all over it? It's like the perfect setup to hide a dead body.
I think she definitely killed her husband.
At first I was skeptical, but then Joe brought up a good point where he was like, if everyone is like, I don't trust that bitch, then she probably did. Where you're like, if because he was like, if I died, I think most people wouldn't be like, I think Sarah killed Joe.
Well, also, his ex-wife was like, he told me he was scared of her. He was filing for divorce. I mean, there's no leads at all into who. There's like, it's an open case. It's just so weird.
Yeah, and then
It's weird he was gonna divorce her and then he goes missing.
she changed the will to be like in the case of a disappearance. Like no one uh thinks they're going to disappear. Everyone knows they're going to die, but no one really thinks they're going to disappear. Like that's such a weird, crazy
I'm surprised that
verbiage to
they were
use.
never able to press charges against her because
I guess they didn't have
they
a
couldn't produce a
body.
body, right?
Yeah. And then my other thing too is so they also interview other people that own their own private zoos or big cat owners. And they're
They're also
all like,
shitty people, also.
they're crazy. Like there was one guy who had long blonde hair and he went by this name called Boglodian, which means Lord in some language
Is
or
that the guy that
something.
had all of those? So that guy also was a little bit more honest about what he was doing, where he's basically like, yeah, all these women want to come here. I want attractive women, so people want to come. And he has like 5 or 6 girlfriends. He's like, they can all leave. But then they had a girl that used to work for him, and she's like, you can leave, but you're scared if you leave, you're going to have nothing. Like, it is
Oh,
very,
yeah.
kind of like Scientology.
Well, he doesn't pay you enough that you could save your money. Like all those people were either volunteers at Carol Baskin, so they weren't making money, and then at Joe Exotic, and then also the other guy that we're talking about, he was paying his employees about $100 a month, but they could live there for free.
I thought it was
So
like
you
100
can't
bucks.
save money that way. Oh
Well,
yeah, it was $100 a week.
also, if these people that are working there don't mind not making any money and working hard for a long time, they might as well just do stand up. I mean, I don't know that we're going to have a stand up career to go back to because who knows what's going to happen, but that is an interesting way to be like, oh, well, yeah, let's just do stand up. We're going to deal with vultures.
I was surprised. I was thinking that for Joe Exotic, if he didn't go to prison he goes to prison and for hiring a hitman to kill Carol Baskin, but they also got him on counts of animal abuse because I think he was just kind of killing off those cubs.
Well, what they're saying is once the lions get to an age where you're scared of them and they can murder you, they have no more value really. Like once they're babies, you can take pictures with them and people can play with them. But once they're, I guess, 6 months old and they can eat you, he's just killing them.
Yeah. So, but I was
Which
thinking after if he didn't.
They're saying that most of the like lions and tigers are being held like captive by people in this country or
Yeah,
wherever.
then there are in wildlife.
Why don't they sell them to like forest or whoever, the wildlife conservation, sell it to them and have them take them instead of just killing them.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the other crazy thing too, because Joe Exotic get in trouble for he shot 5 of them in the head, and he said he euthanized them.
Right, he said that they were sick, and it's weird. It's like it makes you hate him, but only for like a minute. He's so nuts, and he's so unaware of anything that's going around him. It is like a hot train wreck, which Americans love. People love that.
I was impressed. I was like, you know what? I don't have this guy's kind of work ethic. I'm actually impressed that he had the ability to create this thing out of nowhere.
You know why they probably don't sell them to the conservation? Sorry, I just thought of this. Probably because I think it's illegal to breed them, right? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know why they didn't sell them to especially when they're young pups as to conservationists. Maybe because at that level, when you take them away from their mother, they lose all kind of survival skills that they would have learned that they would be rendered useless in the wild.
Oh, maybe. That's a good point. I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about them. They are cute, though.
They are, when you look at all those cats, you're like, they're adorable. But towards the end, when we said it got really dark, those cats, a lot of them looked really sad. Like the chimps where he's like, I had them in a cage next to each other. for
10
10 years. And then finally I sold them because I had to. And then when they were out and about and they were allowed to be in the same field together, they hugged each other, and that broke my heart.
Yeah, it is sad that like he kept them separated the whole time and they wanted to just kind of be together.
Yeah. I just like that's one of those things where it's like you look back on I was Joe Exotic, I'd be like, wow, that really got out of hand.
Like
My life was uncontrollable.
if he's writing like his biography in prison. Also though,
Yeah.
I hope he does like most of the book just about Carol Baskin. And she also had so much money from her husband because he was like a millionaire. And did you notice that
Oh,
Carol
yeah.
Baskin's husband's kids from his first marriage look the same age as the first wife?
That's because they had them when that mom had them when she was like 16.
Okay, fine. That the one to the left that was sitting with the mother looked so old that it looked like they could be sisters. The one on the right looked younger.
Yeah,
But
I was like, the mom looked like younger than her daughter.
yeah, that's gotta be weird. But she was pissed because Carol Baskin basically, the husband was a womanizer, and he fucked Carol when he was married to the
Yeah.
wife, so she fucking hated him. Which I get, I understand that.
I mean, even the beginning of their relationship where she's like, I just got in a fight with my husband. I decided to walk along the freeway. And then this guy pulled up and was like, can I give you a ride? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, you can point this gun at my head. And then so I hooked up with him.
He's like, so I got in the car and I'm just holding this gun to his head. And you're like,
We go to a hotel and he's like,
"Mm."
and then he comes home and he's like, honey, I've fallen in love with a 17-year-old. He was like 40.
Yes, I think she was 20 and he was about 40.
Yeah, their age difference was. Can you imagine your husband that's 40 being like, I've fallen in love with a 20-year-old that I found on the highway?
I think that Carol Baskin's only a little bit younger than his daughters, right? Or a little bit older. I can't even tell. I think that she's a little bit
I
younger.
think she's a little bit younger.
That, to me, that's so disgusting.
I know it is disturbing.
It's weird when you're fucking someone that's younger than your kid.
It's unnatural. It's not kosher.
No, there's something weird about that. And then he also, I think, cheated on Carol a bit too. And I guess she was like, well, you're going to die.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you can't expect that guy to be faithful if you met him on the side of the freeway and he's 40 and he falls in love with you when you're 20, where you're just like, what is that guy? What moral ground does that guy stand on?
I don't know. That's nuts. And also, like, the fact that he has a gun in the car doesn't mean that he can't take the gun from you and just, I don't know. That wouldn't make me think it's his only gun. But he's like,
Yeah,
get
well, like
a pickup truck and then let's go to a hotel. You're like,
that just sounds like Florida in the 70s.
I mean, were they in Florida? This was still in Oklahoma, right?
No, Carol and Donald were in Florida. Joe Exotic is in Oklahoma, and then the other guy is in North Carolina, I think.
Well, what Joe Exotic did, and what started kind of the rift between them, is he ripped off that chick's name, whatever it was like Big Cat Entertainment or something. And that
Yeah, I
started
love that.
a copyright infringement lawsuit, because I guess she had like 5 million followers, and people would go just thinking they were on her website, I guess, and they would go to his. So
That's what I would do. I've done that shit before when you're looking up something and then you're like, oh, I guess this is it. And then you're like, oh, like how I signed up for a different kind of Squadcast than the original Squad.
Oh, that's right, when we were originally doing it, and you were like, I'm on a totally different thing. You're like, I'm on Squadcast, there's a lot of cheerleaders here.
Yeah, what is this? It was weird, and then I was like, oh, I'm on the wrong Squadcast. So I feel like that's genius what he did, and it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, but they had a lot of money to fight him, and they eventually won. And then he takes on this. All these guys are just the same type of guy, like a loser, I think Joe Exotic's the least loser out of all of them, but like just like a loser that like wants to fuck a bunch of chicks and thinks having like tigers is good.
Yeah, it's a weird mentality. They're all like wearing bedazzled jean pockets and
he's wearing a bandana underneath a hat, even though he's bald. He's dressed. I mean, he's wearing Ed Hardy knockoff shirts, but he's really like
those infliction stuff.
And then
I would never trust anybody business-wise that looked like that.
No way. And then also his girlfriend got pregnant, and while she's still pregnant, he's like, "I gotta go to the gym, get your shape back." I'd be like, "Fuck you! You have no hair, and you're wearing a bandana."
And then he's picking out the nanny.
Yeah. And that guy, he pretended to have a lot of money so that he could join with Exotic Joe. Meanwhile, he was like renting mansions and not paying them, and renting expensive cars. So
being behind on his
about as shady as the comedy business is.
Oh yeah. That's why I thought we were talking about Joe Exotic should have gotten the stand up. Like I think he would have done at least pretty well if he didn't go to prison and then after this doc was filmed, he probably could have just done a year-long comedy tour and would have done well.
Absolutely, especially he is like unique. He's got this weird mullet that's bleach blonde. He's gay. I mean, I think he's gotten attacked by the tigers quite a few times, and that's why he's wearing that like cast type of thing on his leg.
Yeah, I mean, all of it was insane. I got to wrap up because Joe's got to do his podcast.
Okay.
But also we didn't even get involved with like the trans worker that got her arms ripped off by a tiger through the cage.
She to me seems the most normal on that whole thing. I don't know what her name is.
I know, but you realize that work environment there was so toxic, and yet she still is a huge supporter of Joe Exotic.
Well, her arm got ripped off, and I think they could have saved it, but she would have had to been out of work longer, and she said, just cut it off. And then she shows up 5 days after with a stump.
No company is worth being loyal for.
If you go to a place where there's tigers and somebody shows up with missing limbs, aren't you going to be like, I kind of don't think this is great. Like, I don't feel that here. She didn't want to make it bad publicity for them, which was
she should have gotten some money for unsafe work environment.
I like how they also just shot her from like here up, and then once they reveal she has a stub, then they shoot it all the way out.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice little addition to the story. I mean, every episode that you watched is just like piled on more and more crazy shit.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah. If you guys should, if you get a chance, it's like 6 or 7 episodes and just binge watch Tiger King. And then we can discuss more about it.
I think they're trying to get Trump to pardon him.
That's insane.
Yeah, and even though I don't like Trump, if he pardons him, I'm going to vote for Trump. So.
Really? I thought what he got was pretty fair because of all the animal cruelty that he did.
Yeah, but like the animal cruelty was one thing, but they really wanted to stick the like that he planned to get that woman Carol killed, and there's really not a lot of proof. They don't have any proof of the exchange of money. You know what I mean? Like that could have just been hearsay and just talk. I don't know. I didn't feel like, I think he really wanted her dead, but I don't think they proved that he actually gave them money. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I think he wanted her dead.
Yeah, I think that other guy that we.
Sorry.
I was just saying that the other guy that came in that ended up taking over the farm from him or the zoo, I definitely feel like that guy played a big part in kind of throwing him under the bus.
Well, I think
or setting him up a little bit more.
Under the bus because he kind of made a lot of promises, and then when things got rough, he kind of folded quickly. Like when that guy was doing that reality TV show and he burned everything, and that guy was like,
yeah,
so mad. I get why he was so mad, but he kind of folds quickly and doesn't. He's not very smart. He doesn't think things out clearly. Like
he's emotional.
Never text somebody plans about your murder.
Yeah. Oh shit. I think I'm running low.
Okay.
Or I got to end something soon. I just heard something on my computer that's just it makes me feel like something's running low.
Okay.
All right. Guys, thank you.
Thanks for listening
Patreon.
and paying via Patreon. We really appreciate it. Check out
Yeah.
Vag merch, and if any of you guys want to do a Skype call with us for a half hour for $50, let us know. You could just,
Yeah, definitely.
You could just send the money to Vag and then email us, and we'll set all that up. Don't be a
Great.
creep. If you start being a creep or grabbing at your dick or a pussy, we're gonna just disconnect. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that you put both genders in there.
Yeah, I don't really want to see anyone playing with their pussy either. I just feel like that's fair. If we're just letting
cover our
letting
bases.
masturbate while we're talking, that seems really unfair to the dudes. So we don't want to see anyone's pussy's gross parts. All right, guys.
Definitely.
Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye.